been a while since I've done a podcast episode, and I want to catch you up, let you know what's going on, and how it's going to impact you. Hi, I'm leadership development coach Kathy Archer, and I help women leaders who are in the nonprofit sector build their confidence, create that balance that they want in their roles without sacrificing their personal lives or compromising their values. Because you shouldn't feel overwhelmed and drained and full of self-doubt. Instead, you should feel confident and excited to do the job you love. And that's where I come in. I give you the tools and the strategies and the Max wants to play, if you heard Max, the resources to help you be the best leader you can be. So there hasn't been a podcast episode in a while. What's that all about? I'm working on my second book, Character-Driven Leadership for Women. I'm going to read you the subtitle because I still don't have it memorized. A 5-step guide to shape your own nonprofit management style with strong values, ethics, and morals. And so, as I said, I help women leaders build their confidence, create that balance that they desire without compromising your values, without feeling like somehow you have to ditch who you're going to be. And the book is going to come out in March of 2025. So just let me give you a little intro to book writing if you don't know. There are different ways you can publish a book. With my first book, Mastering Confidence, I self-published it. There is a hybrid, and then there is traditional publishing. I'm going with a hybrid approach, which is very similar to the traditional publishing. Traditional publishing, you may get an advancement. You may be given some money to write. With a hybrid, I've hired a company to help me write. Now, I've hired Page Two. I will put a link in the notes to all of the books that Page Two has published. Tremendous amount of wonderful, amazing books that Page Two has supported. And many of them are in the nonprofit sector. So you're going to see some of that if you look at the list. Where I'm at now is I've spent the first sort of part of the year, January, moving into probably June, where I was really diving deep into picking the book apart. And we were doing what we call substantive edits. Does this chapter fit in? Do we delete it completely? Do we move chapters around? That's substantive edits. Now we're moving into copy editing. Copy editing is more of the nitty gritty. And then finally, we move into proofreading. So if you've wondered why it takes so long to publish a book, that's partly it. As we move into fall, I'll be recording the audio version, and then we'll be building the book out, the landing pages, the websites, all of the stuff to promote it. So I am going to be looking for early readers. I already have some of you on my list. But again, I'll put a link in the notes. If you want to be one of the early readers and get in and read the book early, let me know. I will also be looking to promote the book ahead of time on podcasts. So if you have a podcast or you know of a podcast that it would be a good fit, let me know. I'm looking to be on podcasts. So the book has taken up a big portion of my time, and I've had to step back from doing things like podcasting and, doing some of the, I haven't been as active in blogging, and, you can only do so much. And so that's partly what's happened. After that, summer took some time off, much needed time off, relaxed, enjoyed my time with the kids and the grandkids and my husband and our yard. We have a beautiful yard that we worked hard at. Gardening, just did the stuff that fills me up. And so that was enjoyable. And then at the end of August, I lost my nephew, and that was hard. I wrote and gave the eulogy. And in that process, in the process of grieving, in the process of gathering the information to share the eulogy, I learned a lot about my nephew, myself, my family, but just about how we live. And one of the exercises that I've often given people that you'll have heard me do in training or in sessions that I've given is to write your own eulogy. You sit down and you look at, what do I want people to say about me at the end of my life? When I wrote the eulogy for my nephew, it was like this amazing, wonderful tribute to an amazing kid. He was 24. And I read it to my husband, and I'm crying and he's crying, and it's hard. And I'm like, is it too glowing? Is it not indicative of who he really is? My husband went, no, that's who he was. And so it reminded me, because I've been at funerals where the eulogy is not glowing and people are very clear that this person had some quirks about them and they may be presented in a funny way, but they presented that person authentically. And when I give the eulogy for my nephew, Travis, he lived life to the fullest. He was actively involved. He put people and relationships first. And that's the message I want you to think about. As my book, Character-Driven Leadership, is coming out, It's about the type of person we are, the type of leader we are, the impact we want to have. I've been working for the last 6 months with a group of leaders doing a character-driven leadership course. How do you create your character? How do you develop who you are? That's going to be happening again this fall. So keep that in the back of your mind and keep your eyes open for posts or in emails for me to let you know if you're not on my email list. Again, I'll put the link in the notes. But I think it's important to start to be clear. What's the impact I want to have? Who do I want to be? How do I want to shape things? So keep that in mind, because I really want you to have that opportunity to create the eulogy you desire and maybe the impact and the legacy you want to leave in your organization as you continue to work and work with the people you work with. So sliding into this fall, I'm excited to dive back into creating some content for my membership site, the training library. The training library is if you are one of those growth mindset people who know you've missed the boat on some of the skills in leadership, want to get under the hood of the person you are and the type of leader you want to be, and you want to do some of those self-reflective exercises, work-life balance, time management, engaging with your staff, creating trust in your teams, dealing with difficult conversations, staff supervision, staff meetings, all of that is inside the training library. You can go to kathyarcher.com/library to find out more. So I'm working on that this fall. Again, looking to be on some podcasts. I will also be running 2 communities of practice. If you are a woman leader who feels isolated and alone, make sure you find a group of women to connect with. I'm doing community of practice with AVNA, Alberta Home Visitation Network. So once a month, a group of women get together, women leaders, and talk about the challenges that we're faced with. We don't often have a supervisor, or maybe our supervisor doesn't have a lot of time, or we've only got a board, or we don't have the relationship we would like, or we just want more connection with other leaders. That's the place to go. So again, I'll put that link in the notes if you are in the home visitation space in Alberta. If you're not and you want to create a community of practice and you would love to have me facilitate it, just reach out. Totally interested in doing that. So that's what's up in my world. There's probably a few more things that I've missed, but I will be releasing a podcast coming up on the how to have those difficult corrective conversations. So keep your eye open for that. And then I will be releasing a podcast that I was a guest on another podcast, but he did an amazing job of interviewing me. And if you want to hear my story, how I got from where I was growing up and in high school to doing this work, stay tuned for that sort of founder story, because it's going to be coming out in a few weeks. And it's a longer podcast, but I think it's a really deep dive into how our careers shift and how I became passionate about the work I want to do. So that's what's happening, but how it impacts you. Keep your eye open for the book and the early reader list. Let me know if you have a podcast you want me to be on. If you are interested in becoming a character-driven leader and want to take the course, get in and get on the wait list. And then stay tuned for upcoming podcasts, because I know that you want to be your best self. And sometimes that's hard. And let me help you build that confidence, create that balance so that you're not sacrificing your personal life or compromising your values. Go make the rest of your day awesome.